And for the person that say that they're having a problem with WAP, you can send a message to Jacob. You know Jacob, right? And he will relay that message to me, right? Can I share my approach? Definitely. Of course, that's what I'm doing. But, I can't share all of that one time. You won't get it like that. It will be confusing, and this is the reason why we, chose to not take in too much people at the same time, right? Because if we did do that, then I wouldn't have the opportunity, because last year was very hard for me to answer questions from 1,000 people, right? The chat would just be blowing up. So we took a different approach this time, right? How did I manage to even find new and unique insights about time that others haven't? It's just work, being locked in a room for months on end, right? The only time I go downstairs is when I'm getting something to eat or taking a shower. That's it. That's pretty much all that it is, right? Does sequential SMT have to form below or above the previous quarter, high or low? Yes, 100%. And I think that those questions are the ones that need to be attended right now. Anything else will be discussed in the lecture. I'm just seeing that I have not shared the screen as yet, so I will do so right now. Please confirm with me that you guys can see the screen. I'm not gonna lie, I like Discord. It's just that it's not that, how would I see, safe from leakers. but I like it. Trying to get acquainted with all of you guys. We're a family right now, right? This is a family right now, all of us right here. So you guys can see what's happening. Amazing. You guys, I always hear that you guys can't see the cursor, right? That's the only thing that I don't like about this platform, but can you guys see the cursor, the mouse? You can't see, okay, so maybe we'll have to use something else. So yes, this week you guys can see that we had no news on Monday, and what we're looking at right now, as you probably have heard from everyone here, right, all of the members of staff, Jacob, Lawson, right, this thing right here, forexfactory.com, the e-commerce calendar, is by far one of the most powerful tools. And why is that? That's due to the fact that it gives us the time to expect something to happen, right? That's it. Gives us the time to expect something to happen, right? Without this, right, I wouldn't be lost, but it would be more difficult for me to anticipate something, right? Without this, I would have to wait, for price to confirm, right? But I have the e-commerce calendar and know what time a specific news event will be released, then I just wait for a cracking correlation to occur within that period of time, right? It's very important. A cracking correlation can occur, and remember, a cracking correlation can occur within any cycle, right? So if you're using the 50-minute time frame, well, which cycle will you be using? You'll be using the daily cycle, right? You'll be looking for current correlations between the people are saying that they can't hear. Okay, so some people can hear, some people can't hear. Okay, that's good. As long as some people can hear, that's good. It'll be recorded. So if you can't hear, just know that it will be recorded, even though you can't hear what I'm saying right now. Anyways, a current correlation can occur, on the 50-minute time frame, which would be directly related to the daily time frame and the daily cycle. Right? So 15-minute time frame, daily cycle. To be honest, you don't really need much more than that. Right? You don't really need much more than that. But one second, what just happened? What just happened? One second. We left off talking about 50-minute time frame daily cycle. Right? Using that alone, right, you will realize that you will find a lot of opportunities, right? What does that even mean? 50-minute time frame daily cycle. Right? That means that using the daily cycle, right? Focus on the daily cycle. You're trading with the 15-minute time frame, right? As someone that is, just learning about these concepts, learning about SMT, learning about sequential SMT, this will, give you a lot of opportunities to explore, right? So backtesting, you go back, you look at, previous data. Look for whenever you had, the high of the day formed and the low of the day formed. And then you realize it's usually SMT. That's usually what happens. Right? That's usually what will form the higher the day, the lower the day, the higher the week, the lower the week, the higher the month, and the lower the month. It's very fascinating, right? And also, using these specific times, right? Times you realize that whenever you have news, for example, here we had news during the morning session. Here today we had news during the afternoon session. Tomorrow we have news during the morning session. So when should you be searching for SMT to happen? Tell me. During the morning session. If it happens, you have a trade. If it doesn't happen, then you don't do anything, right? Because right now, this is what you're learning, right? And I'm specifically talking to the people that are new, right? I promise you, this thing works. Sequential SMT. And what else? Plus, alignment or aligning it with the news. That's the model that you should be practicing right now. Since we have news tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. So when do you sit? When do you really have to sit down in front of your charts? 8 o'clock, right? And then you just sit down for the entirety of the New York session, if you wish, right? Then Friday we have news again at 8:30 a.m. That's another opportunity. So yes, as you guys remembered, right? We were looking for higher prices, and we are still looking for higher prices, right? We were looking for higher prices, still looking for higher prices. Here we had price gap down, and price just dropped below the equilibrium of this range right here, right? This range right here is from this high, which is a swing point, to this low, right? So right here, this range, where we, pretty sure everyone knows what this is, we're in premium in regards to this range. Right here, the same thing goes for price in regards to this range right here, right? There are times when you will see these type of things happen, which are, what I would call unpredictable, right? These things are, if there's any randomness, if there's any randomness in the marketplace, right, it's here. If you couldn't see the mouse, don't worry, in the recording it will be there, right? So here, leading ridge high, leading ridge low, we're in premium right now. And the reason why I said it is that usually this means that you should expect lower prices, expect a short, not us, not here. Why is that? This is due to the fact that we have sequential SMT here below these lows, right? What's happening? You see sequential SMT between the lows of the S&P 500 making a higher low, between the Nasdaq, even due to the fact that we had that news that came out with China challenging OpenAI, or the largest company in the US, Nvidia, right? China is challenging them, so apparently that's the reason. Well, that's why they said that this happened, right? So the Dow took this low, and until we have another sequential SMT, we will just be expecting price to go higher, right? I really don't like the crosshairs that much, to be honest, but until I figure out how to, or we figure out how to make sure that the mouse, the actual cursor is showing, then we just have to use it. Anyways, here for the Dow, something different happened, right? Here, when we had the release of that news event, the specific news event, that was random and gave us a lot of volatility, right? Price dropped, but it did not drop below the equilibrium of this range right here, right? So here we had this swing point form, price dropped, fell within this fair value gap pertaining to the Dow. Looking at the Nasdaq, we dropped below the equilibrium of the range, and looking at the S&P 500, we did drop below the equilibrium of the range, right? So that in itself right there, that's a cracking correlation as well. And the reason why this is important is due to the fact that we had such a news event, right? Whenever you have, headlines of war just pop up. Okay, here just got nuked. A bomb was dropped here, right? Some type of event, that, a black swan event occurred here, right? So it's basically just black swan events that would allow, this type of volatility to occur, that would trigger people into believe that, oh, price is going to go lower, right? Because everyone on their and their grandmother thought that we were going to take these lows out. Not us. Why? Because we have this right here, the Kraken correlation. It's telling us that we should expect higher prices. It's telling us that this is what price is doing right now. And until we see another one that, cancels this correlation, then our bias will remain the same. For now, and it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward, we look for bullish Kraken correlations and expect price to run above these highs. Right? So here, looking at the NASDAQ, what's something that pops out to you? Right? What's something that just is just undeniable on the charts right now? First of all, remember that we already have a bullish Kraken correlation. So for me, here it is. These highs, they're too clean. Right? They're way too clean right now. So we have these highs right here, and then of course we have these highs right here. Right? And then of course right here, and this has not been taught to the group of 2025 yet, but this is a new week opening gap. Right? The new week opening gap is classified by the close of Friday and the open, right? So the gap that's formed between the close of Friday and the open of Sunday. Right? If you're a person that, is difficult for you to understand, then you can use this right now, this indicator right now, that will help you to understand. Yes, it's just an introduction, but you will see that, it works pretty well, right? Every time you have a reversal in price action, and basically I'm just trying to make this really, 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 really easy for you guys, right? If you have a correlation that falls on a new week opening gap, if you have a C plus SMT, whatever it is that falls on a new week opening gap, it will be high probability. Just said that already, right? Look at where price, always choose to reverse. Look at where price stops. Look at where price consolidates. Okay, so that's the name of this specific indicator. And I'll take it off right now. So it's the draw on liquidity, right, would be above these highs right here. Right? Your goal, right, as someone that's trying to learn from you is what? You're learning how to read price. You're learning how to read price better than me. That's your goal. Right? That's your goal. You need to be able to gauge the underpinnings of price action. Right? That's what it is. You need two things to do that. Right now, the economic calendar, sequential assembly. So that's your main focus, right? You've never studied any of this shit before. I'm not telling you about any gaps or anything. I'm not trying to give you any fancy words. I'm not trying to teach you anything fancy. I'm teaching you something that is basic, something that will actually work, something that will help you to understand what's happening. Right? So if you see sequential SMT occur here, it's within a window of time that we should expect a reversal due to the fact that there's a news event during that window of time. Then would you expect price to go lower or higher? Obviously, we would expect price to go higher. right? First of all, these highs are too clean right here, right? And it's basically that simple. Right? Looking here, from, we dropped from this high, which is, I'm pretty sure that everyone in the class of 25 remembers this, right? So dropping from this high, and now we're looking at the euro dollar. So from this high, what occurred? Right, and now we're going to be focusing on how important this thing is, how important having a correlation is, how important sequential SMT is, right? How important SMT is, right? So here we had this high form when? In July of 2023. Then in September of 2024, this high was formed, right? So this was formed in 2023, this high was formed in 2024. Looking at the Great British Pound, this high right here of July 2023 was formed, you can see, at the same time as this high. And this high was formed at the same time as the high that was formed in the euro. But these are two completely different highs, right? Looking at the Great British Pound, this high pierced the high of 2023, but that one did not. Right? And this is what makes this concept, so new. It's not just SMT. It's not just a cracking correlation. This is sequential SMT. It's a sequence, right? This is the sequence that price must follow before it reverses. You've seen it occur if you're the person that has been backtesting. Yes, yearly sequential SMT, yearly sequential SMT, not yearly sequential SMT. This is sequential SMT between the quadrennial cycle. So the quadrennial cycle is comprised of 4 years. No, I haven't taught that publicly before. Right? So the quadrennial cycle is comprised of 4 years. Right? Each previous year, right, is reflected upon by the upcoming year or the current year. Right, so you can have sequential SMT between 2000. You could have sequential SMT between 2001, 2002. You can have it between 2027, 2028, as long as it's in sequence, right? So there was a lot of liquidity, and this is the magic, right? According to my theory about sequential SMT. The previous cycle's high or low, right? There is a lot of liquidity that's built up above or below it. Whenever you have a cracking correlation, the price engine just clicks and voila, price reverses. It's not that hard. And it's not something that has been taught before, I have spoken about it, right? Because the base of this thing is what? It's quarterly theory. That's what it is. So a quadrennial cycle is comprised of 4 years. And this is how you use it. Right? So there are times when we will have SMT and it won't be, sequential. And you will have price slow down or reverse as well. Right? But that is just because there is something else that's in play. Looking at this right now, there is something else in play. Right? Anyways, here at these lows, you can see that the euro took this low out The British pound did not. But due to the fact that there is SMT here, we had a reversal, right? We had price slow down. Do you see how simple it is? Whenever there is sequential SMT, okay, it's time to take a trade. If I'm trading and then SMT occurs in the opposite direction of my sequential SMT, I'm just going to get out of the trade. So now you have something that will put you into a trade. Then you also have something that will take you out of a trade. Right? That's what it is. It is that simple. It is that simple. Right? So here you can see that, right? And I will use the crosshair right now. And I need you guys to go into your charts and, study this yourself. Right? So this is the daily cycle that we're using right now, as I previously talked about, right? And the goal of this is not to, definitely not to just be hold. Oh, I'm just going to get in and hold forever. No, right? You have a specific amount that you're willing to risk, right? Personally, I am only interested in, well, most of the time I'm only interested in 1 to 3. I don't really care about holding for too long because I know that this thing will repeat over and over, right? So anyways, here during this time that we had a news event right, remember we had a news event, what happened? Price traded below this low. So this is and this was the low of the day, by the way, right? Right, so this is, and I am not, highlighting anything on the chart due to the fact that I need you guys to be able to, see this without, having to draw any lines or anything like that. So next week we'll start doing a bit of highlighting, but due to the fact that now I need your minds to just, be active, I need you to be searching for, what to understand, basically. So here, the gray area, this is the S&P 500 right here, right? The chart that is all the way to the left, right? The S&P 500, the gray area, that's the agent session. Here, this is the London session. Give me 1 second. I do not want my computer to die on me while I am having this lecture. So let me just plug it in. This is a good one. I was talking and Lawson is like, too much. Alright, that's why they're here, to help me to not say too much. Oh, Jacob, I'm sorry. You guys have a similar, it's the color scheme of the pictures. I'm so sorry. So yes, here, let me just, make sure that I put everything here. So, and using this right now, you'll see that, okay, this is literally how they use his own indicator, right? Pretty simple. Daily cycle, 15-minute time frame. You can literally just use this right here, right? So here is the Asian session, right? Asian session right here, then right here we had what? The London session. Then here, what do we have? The New York session. So during the New York session, price traded below the Asian session, and more importantly, it did trade below the London session. Looking at the ES, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq, but looking at the Dow, during this specific session, the New York session, it did not trade below its London session. Now this is where we had sequential SMT occur. Can you see that? This is where we had the correlation occur. This is where the trade formed, basically. Right? And this was actually beautiful, right? So this is the gist of it, right? You're going to relate the cycle that you have in news event, right? So here, reflecting upon here, should give you here the expansion, right? For some of you guys that need to see this. And remember, right, we talked about expecting higher prices. We talked about, and when you hear me say, oh, I expect higher prices, it doesn't just mean that we just expect price to go higher and higher and higher. It means that if we see a pullback in price action, if we see price drop, but I've been saying that we expect higher prices, it means that the setups, the sequential SMTs will be directing price higher, right? So that's it. Sequential SMT between what? Q2 and Q3. For 2 or 3 of the assets, when was the low of the day formed? During Q3. For the other asset, when? During Q2. So all that you found is useful. I'm pretty sure that you will. Right now it's like you're getting to understand, more. Right now it's like, oh, okay, now I understand this. That's why you talked about that. Yes. So now I hope that you found this useful. I hope that you really focus on the daily cycle and the 50-minute time frame. And we will be back next week. To be honest, next week I'll be, I want to be even more active, right? Because I'm actually starting to feel better now, as you guys can tell in my voice, as you guys can tell by how long I've actually been talking, right? Because we had a live stream first, and then that was, cut off. But I'll try to see if I can pace those live streams together. I'll just post part 1, part 2. But yeah. Anyways, how about you guys, found this useful? It's amazing, as you guys would expect. And we will talk again. Ciao.